Welcome to Secrets and History. Today, we're diving into the fascinating tale of the Titanic, the legendary ship that captured the world's imagination. From its ambitious construction to its tragic maiden voyage, we'll explore the stories of those who built it, sailed on it, and the legacy it left behind. Join us as we unravel the mysteries and untold stories of this iconic vessel. The Titanic remains one of the most iconic and tragic stories in maritime history, symbolizing both the heights of human ingenuity and the depths of human tragedy. The story of the Titanic, from its conception and construction to its maiden voyage and catastrophic sinking, continues to captivate the world more than a century later. This comprehensive history will delve into the details of the ship's creation, its ill-fated journey, the aftermath, and its enduring legacy. Conception and construction. In the early 20th century, transatlantic travel was dominated by a fierce competition among shipping companies. The White Star Line, one of the leading players in this race, sought to outdo its rivals, particularly the Cunard Line, which had introduced two of the fastest ships in the world, the Lusitania and the Mauretania. To compete, White Star Line's chairman, J. Bruce Ismay, envisioned a class of ships that prioritized luxury and size over speed. This vision culminated in the conception of the Olympic-class liners, which included the RMS Olympic, the RMS Titanic, and the HMHS Britannic. The construction of the Titanic began on March 31, 1909, at the Harland and Wolff shipyard in Belfast, Ireland. Under the supervision of the shipyard's chief designer, Thomas Andrews, the Titanic was to be the largest and most luxurious ship ever built. With a length of 882 feet 9 inches, a width of 92 feet 6 inches, and a gross tonnage of 46,328 tons, the Titanic was a marvel of modern engineering. It featured state-of-the-art technology, including a double-bottom hull and 16 watertight compartments designed to keep the ship afloat even if 4 of these compartments were breached. The Titanic's luxurious amenities were unparalleled. The ship boasted a grand staircase, opulent dining rooms, a swimming pool, a gymnasium, and first-class suites that rivaled the finest hotels of the era. Every detail was meticulously planned to provide an unrivaled experience for its passengers. After nearly 2 years of construction, the Titanic was launched on May 31, 1911, and her fitting out was completed by March 1912. The maiden voyage. The Titanic's maiden voyage was scheduled for April 10, 1912, departing from Southampton, England, with stops at Cherbourg, France, and Queenstown, now Cove, Ireland, before crossing the Atlantic to New York City. The ship carried some of the wealthiest people in the world, including industrialists, businessmen, and celebrities, as well as immigrants seeking a new life in America. Captain Edward Smith, a seasoned mariner with a long career at White Star Line, was chosen to command the Titanic on what was intended to be his final voyage before retirement. The ship set sail on the morning of April 10, 1912, with over 2,200 passengers and crew on board. Among the notable passengers were J. Bruce Ismay, who sought to witness the success of his company's flagship, and Thomas Andrews, who was on board to observe the ship's performance. The voyage proceeded smoothly for the first few days, with passengers enjoying the luxury and comfort of the ship. However, despite multiple ice warnings from other ships in the area, the Titanic continued to steam ahead at near maximum speed, driven by a desire to arrive in New York ahead of schedule. On the night of April 14, 1912, the Titanic entered a region of the North Atlantic littered with icebergs. At approximately 11:40 p.m., Lookout Frederick Fleet spotted an iceberg directly in the ship's path. He rang the warning bell and telephoned the bridge, but the proximity of the iceberg left little time for evasive action. The ship struck the iceberg on its starboard side, causing a series of punctures below the waterline. The damage to the Titanic's hull was catastrophic. The iceberg had compromised 5 of the ship's watertight compartments, exceeding the ship's design limits. Within minutes, water began flooding the lower sections of the ship. Captain Smith and his officers quickly assessed the situation and realized that the ship was doomed. Distress signals were sent out, and lifeboats were prepared for evacuation. Despite the severity of the situation, Many passengers were initially unaware of the danger. The Titanic was equipped with lifeboats for only about half of the people on board, following the maritime regulations of the time, which did not account for a ship of the Titanic's size. The crew prioritized women and children for the lifeboats, but the chaotic and disorganized evacuation resulted in many lifeboats being launched half-empty. As the bow of the Titanic gradually sank into the icy waters, the stern lifted high into the air. At approximately 2:20 a.m. on April 15, 1912, the Titanic broke apart and sank, leaving over 1,500 people stranded in the freezing Atlantic. The survivors, clinging to lifeboats and debris, faced the harsh elements as they awaited rescue. The RMS Carpathia, a Cunard-Line ship, was the first to respond to the Titanic's distress signals. Arriving at the scene around 4 a.m., the Carpathia rescued over 700 survivors from the lifeboats. The ship's captain, Arthur Rostron, and his crew worked tirelessly to provide medical care and comfort to the traumatized survivors. The news of the Titanic sinking sent shockwaves around the world. The tragedy dominated headlines, and public outrage grew as details of the disaster emerged. Investigations were launched on both sides of the Atlantic to determine the causes and prevent future maritime disasters. The British Board of Trade and the United States Senate held inquiries that highlighted the inadequacies in safety regulations and the complacency of maritime practices. One of the most significant outcomes of the inquiries was the establishment of the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, SOLAS, in 1914. This treaty mandated sufficient lifeboats for all passengers, regular lifeboat drills, and continuous radio watch. The sinking also led to the formation of the International Ice Patrol, which monitors iceberg dangers in the North Atlantic. The Titanic story has captivated generations, becoming a symbol of hubris, tragedy, and the human spirit. The ship's wreckage was discovered in 1985 by a team led by oceanographer Robert Ballard, nearly 12,500 feet below the ocean's surface. The discovery renewed interest in the Titanic, leading to numerous expeditions and the retrieval of artifacts that provided deeper insights into the ship's final moments. The Titanic's legacy endures through countless books, documentaries, and films, most notably James Cameron's 1997 blockbuster Titanic, which brought the story to a global audience. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the history of the Titanic. If you enjoyed uncovering these secrets, make sure to give this video a thumbs up and share it with fellow history enthusiasts. Don't forget to subscribe to Secrets in History for more captivating tales from the past. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. Until next time, keep exploring the mysteries of history